Again, it's really important, I think, to understand that these are taking place on private property. So it's up to the educational institutions, and some have positioned themselves differently in relation to how they would handle these things. I can tell you that I believe that the U of C's actually positioned themselves very fairly. They're encouraging, I wouldn't say encouraging, they're supportive of protests taking place, but just not encampments and occupations. And so I think if you've looked across North America, that's been problematic where that's been allowed to happen, but that's an individual decision. At the end of the day, there's many reasons why some institutions may take one approach and some might take another, and that's an individual choice. But I think at the end of the day, once the police are called and once if people have been given hours of explanation about what's going to happen and about what their rights are in relation to remaining on that property, if you're not going to leave, the police are going to escalate and they're going to leave you. And that's what happened yesterday. So were we surprised that there was a group of people that were not going to leave? Not at all. The point of engaging people for as long as we did, though, was again to make sure that anybody who wasn't certain, anybody who had maybe been told something that wasn't quite right, had an opportunity to engage with officers before we ever went in to clean the place out. But let me be super clear. Anybody that was there at the end when those munitions were deployed were not surprised that they were deployed. Like, they had ample opportunity to leave. So if you were there at the end, you were there because you wanted to be, and you were not going to remain there. When the police went in finally to remove people from the encampment there were people that did actually become absolutely not peaceful. There were projectiles thrown toward the end of that. That's when the escalation happens at the end, where there's a small number of people that are throwing things and grabbing onto the police and that type of thing. And so, as I would expect, and as I'm happy to see, there was an escalation at that point because the behavior of the suspects will dictate the reaction of the officers as it did there. And that's how it works.